Hello, learners. Welcome to Cafdil lessons. I am Susanna Jenny London, your English language teacher. Today we are going to continue with our English language lesson on relative pronouns. But before then, let's go on to the homework of the previous lesson. The last time, after our lesson, you were given homework, and the instruction was underline the subject pronoun with 1 line and object pronouns with 2 lines. So let's mark it and see how well you were able to do. 1. In the bracket we have we, us, are going to church. We, us, in the bracket, are going to church. Which of the pronouns is the correct one? We. Okay, we are going to church. That is the correct pronoun. The next sentence. Eric gave the letter to, we have in the bracket her and she. So which one is the correct one? Eric gave the letter to her. Good. Number 3. They, him in the bracket, left for Tema last month. Which of the pronouns are correct? They. They left for Tema last month. They left for Tema last month. Good. Number 4. The artist drew a picture of, we have them and they in the bracket. Which one is correct? Them. Okay, let's read it together. The artist drew a picture of them. Number 5. We have bracket. In the bracket we have him and he. Which one is correct? He. Okay. He and his mates are playing football. He and his mates are playing football. The 6th sentence. Susan and, in the bracket we have me and I. Which one is correct? I. Let's see. Susan and I wash the drinking glasses. Susan and I wash the drinking glasses. Okay, I hope you have all gotten it correct. Well done. Now let's go to our main lesson. Today we have a lesson on relative pronouns. Again, relative pronouns. Yeah. We have objectives. Objectives. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to 1. Use relative pronouns in sentences. Again, use relative pronouns in sentences. Now, A. These are the relative pronouns. Let's see them. Whose, whom, who, which, and that. Let's take it again. The relative pronouns are whose, whom, who, which, and that. Now we are going to use who, whom, and whose for persons. Who, whom, and whose are used for persons. We use who, whom, and whose for persons. Again, we use who, whom, and whose for persons. Example of sentences. A. This is Musa who sells newspaper. This is Musa who sells newspapers. B. Agnes is the new student whom I met on the train. Agnes is the new student whom I met on the train. C. Salia is the girl whose purse was stolen. Let's take it again. Salia is the girl whose purse was stolen. Now we see examples of sentences. We see Musa who sells newspapers. These are the papers he has and he sells them. So this is Musa who sells newspapers. Agnes is the new student whom I met on the train. Here we are in the train, and that is Agnes and I. We've come to Salia is the girl whose bag was stolen. Let's take it again. Salia is a girl whose bag was stolen. And here is Salia with the robber trying to take the bag from Salia. We use which for things and animals. So we should know that which can only be used for things and animals. And these are the animals here. 2. We use which for things and animals. Examples of sentences. A. I like dogs which have long tails and bushy furs. I like dogs which have long tails and bushy furs. B. That is the book which you gave me. Again, that is the book which you gave me. C. The shirt which I bought is red. The shirt which I bought is red. So we've seen that which can only be used for animals and things. I like dogs which have long tails and bushy furs. Here we can see a dog standing here. It has a long tail, bushy fur all over his body. That is a dog, and which is used for animal. An example is a dog. That is the book which you gave me. That is the book which you gave me. Now we see that we are talking about book. So he's showing him the book. Maybe it's James and Kofi trying to show him the book that he gave him, and which is used for the book, which is a thing. That is the book which you gave me. The shirt which I bought is red. Let's take it again. The shirt which I bought is red. Now this is a shirt. What is the color? We can see all over the color of the shirt is red. Good. Now we use that for human beings, animals, and things. We use that for human beings, animals, and things. Examples of sentences. A. That man in the white shirt is my head teacher. Let's take it again. That man in the white shirt is my head teacher. B. Peter bought the apple that woman sells. Peter bought the apples that woman sells. Okay, C. This is bird. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. Let's take it again. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. So here we use that for animal. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. D. The basket that is used for shopping is spoiled. The basket that is used for shopping is spoiled. So here again, we can see that that is used for a thing, and that is the basket. The basket that is used for shopping is spoiled. Let's go to the next sentence. The march that was played was very interesting. Here again we see that we use that to talk about the march. The march that was played was very interesting. Let's go back again and try and see how we can use that for things and animals. We use that for human beings, animals and things. We use that for human beings, animals and things. Examples of sentences. A. That man in the white shirt is my head teacher. B. Peter bought the apples that woman sells. Peter bought the apples that woman sells. C. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. D. The basket that is used for shopping is spoiled. The basket that is used for shopping is spoiled. E. The march that was played was very interesting. Let's take it again. The march that was played was very interesting. Now, that man in the white shirt is my head teacher. And let's look at the picture carefully. This is a classroom, and we see the head teacher wearing a white shirt. So that man in the white shirt is my head teacher. Next sentence. Peter bought the watermelon that woman sells. Let's take it again. Peter bought the watermelon that woman sells. So in the picture, what do we see? We can see Peter with this watermelon seller trying to bargain to buy the watermelon. So we see that the woman is holding the watermelon, going to give it to Peter. Do you see anything else? No, except Peter buying from the watermelon seller. So Peter bought the watermelon that woman sells. Let's go to the next sentence. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. This bird is the one that fell from the tree. Let's have a look at the picture. What do we see in the picture? A falling bird lying at its back. It fell from the tree and maybe is dead. So this bird is the one that fell from the tree. And let's see, maybe it was a tall tree and it fell from height. So it's down and it's dead. And this is the picture of the bird. Let's go to another sentence. That bag is for my sister. That bag is for my sister. So we see here that is also used for a thing, and that is bag is for my sister. Let's look at the picture. What do we see? A brown bag, and it's for my sister. That bag is for my sister, and we see the bag here. This is the bag she's talking about. Now, the next sentence. The match that was played was very interesting. The match that was played was very interesting. Let's look at the picture carefully. What do we see? Student playing football. This is the ball, and you see how they are trying to kick the ball. All the students are cheering and watching the football match. So the match that was played was very interesting. So that was used for the match that was played. And we see in the picture a lot of students watching the football match. They are trying to kick the ball high, and a lot of people watching. So that the match that was played was very interesting. And here we use that to describe the match. Let's try our hands on this exercise to see how best we can do them. The instruction is complete these sentences with the correct relative pronouns. Again, complete these sentences with the correct relative pronouns. 1. We have Kwesi dash. You are looking for. In the bracket we have whom, whose, who is gone home. So let's select the correct answer. Okay, Kwesi, whom you are looking for, is gone home. So we've seen that whom is the correct answer for the first sentence. Kwesi, whom you are looking for, is gone home. So whom is the right relative pronoun to use for the first sentence. 2. Mark dash is missing, is in class 5. Again, we have in the bracket whose, who, whom. Which of these relative pronouns do you think will be the correct one? Whose. Correct. Mark, whose book is missing, is in class 5. Again, Mark, whose book is missing, is in class 5. So among the 3 relative pronouns, whose was the correct one to use. Mark, whose book is missing, is in class 5. Right. Number 3. This is the goat. We have dash into bracket who, which, whom ate the cassava. Let's select the correct relative pronoun. Which one? Yes. This is the goat which ate the cassava. This is the goat which ate the cassava. So which is the right relative pronoun to use to complete the sentence. This is the goat which ate the cassava. In the next sentence, this is the storybook. In the bracket, okay, somebody said that. Okay, this is the story that everyone wants to read. This is the story that everyone wants to read. So the person selected that, and that is the correct relative pronoun to use. Number 5. I saw a robber. Dash. We have who, whom, whose in the bracket was wearing dark goggles. I saw a robber. Who, whom, whose was wearing dark goggles. Which of the relative pronoun will be right? Okay, let's try with that. I saw a robber who was wearing dark goggles. I saw a robber who was wearing dark goggles. So who is the right relative pronoun to use? We have number 6. She is a girl, dash. Again, we have who, whom, which in the bracket scored the goal. She is a girl, who, whom, which scored the goal. Let's see the right relative pronoun to use. Yes. She is the girl. Somebody said who. Right. She is the girl who scored the goal. Who scored the goal is the girl. She is the girl who scored the goal. Well done. 7. Here is the man, dash. Again, we have who, whose, whom in the bracket drove the car. Here is the man. We have who, whose, whom drove the car. So we are going to select the right relative pronoun to complete the sentence. And which of them do you think will be the right one? Here is a man who drove the car. Good. Here is a man who drove the car. Now let's go over the sentences again. Now that we have all the correct relative pronouns. Kwesi, whom you are looking for, is gone home. Kwesi, whom you are looking for, is gone home. So we use whom here. Sentence 2. Mark, whose book is missing, is in class 5. Mark, whose book is missing, is in class 5. Here again, we're able to choose whose to complete the sentence. 3. This is the goat which ate the cassava. This is the goat which ate the cassava. Here again, we're able to select which to complete the sentence to make it meaningful. This is the goat which ate the cassava. Then we come to 4. This is the storybook that everyone wants to read. This is the storybook that everyone wants to read. Here again, we're able to choose that as a right relative pronoun. This is the storybook that everyone wants to read. Again, to number 5. I saw a robber. We chose who was wearing dark goggles. I saw a robber who was wearing dark goggles. So here again, who was the right relative pronoun to choose. 6. She is a girl. She is the girl who scored the goal. She is the girl who scored the goal. Here again, we're able to choose who as a right relative pronoun to complete the sentence. She is the girl who scored the goal. The next sentence. Here is the man. We chose who drove the car. Here is the man who drove the car. Here again, we're able to choose who as a right relative pronoun to complete the sentence. Here is the man who drove the car. Well done. I believe everybody had the right answer. Good. Now, upon learning all these things, we want to take homework to the house to try our hands on to see how best we can understand the lesson. So homework. 1. Baba is the one. You have in the brackets whom, who, which. Save me from falling. You have to read through carefully and select the correct relative pronoun. Baba is the one whom, who, which saved me from falling. Sentence 2. Dallas is the cat. We have whose, that, whom. Caught the rat. Dallas is the cat. Whose, that, whom. Caught the rat. Here again you have in the bracket whose, that, whom. Choose the correct one to complete the sentence. 3. This is the man. In the bracket we have which, that, who taught us the song. Here again you have to read it over and select the correct relative pronoun to complete the sentence. 4. The girl. Again in the bracket we have whom, whose, who. Shoes were stolen is crying. The girl, whom, whose, who, shoe were stolen is crying. Here again, you have to look carefully into the bracket and select the correct relative pronoun. 5. That is the house. In the bracket, we have which, who, whose belong to Mr. Amu. That is the house which, who, whose belongs to Mr. Amu. You look through carefully and select the correct relative pronoun to complete the sentence. 6. We got into a room. In the brackets, we have who, which, whom was very dark. We got into a room. Who, which, whom was very dark. Again, you have to read through carefully and select the correct relative pronoun to complete the sentence. Number 7. This is the bag. In the bracket, we have whose, which, that. Whose, which, who was stolen. Again, this is the bag. Whose, which, who was stolen. Here again, you have to read it carefully and select the correct relative pronoun to complete the sentence. I'll give you some time to copy the homework. Okay, I hope you take the homework home and then do the homework correctly. We have come to the end of the lesson and we hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.